Today we look at Trevor Bauer and John Lester and talk about ways to increase pitching velocity. Hey, what's going on, fellas? How we doing? Matt Antonelli here. Today we're going to talk about one of the keys to pitching velocity. We're going to look at the mechanics of Trevor Bauer here on the left and John Lester here on the right. What we're going to talk about today is how leading with your hips and lower body down the mound while keeping your upper body back will translate into higher throwing velocities. If you watch and break down the mechanics of most elite throwers, high level throwers that throw hard, you're going to see the lower body lead them down the mound. You're going to see their upper body stay back until they turn and throw. Okay? Lower body leads, upper body stays back, turn and throw. Again, you'll see some guys do it more than others, but you're going to always see the upper body behind the lower body as their bodies are traveling down the mound. Okay. When you watch younger players, you're going to see the opposite a lot of times. You'll see the upper body lead, right? So let's talk about why this works, why this allows you to throw the ball harder. The way I explain it to guys, I talk about two different analogies. I describe it to, the first one is describing it to a catapult. Okay. So the idea is the more we can keep the upper body back as we move, when we finally let our body come forward, the more our upper body is going to be able to travel forward, the more energy we're going to be able to create and build up, the more speed we'll be able to get our body moving with, and ultimately, the faster the ball will come out of our hand. Okay? So when we talk about, first example is a catapult. If you take a catapult and you pull the catapult back, right? The further you pull that back, when you finally let it go, the further it's going to travel forward, the more energy it's going to travel forward with, the more speed it's going to pick up while it's traveling forward. And then whatever you're shooting, a rock or whatever, the further the rock's going to go. Okay? So it's the same thing with our body. We need to move out with our lower body, keep our upper body back. If we draw a line here as we start moving, if I draw a line here, it's a really bad line. If I draw a line here, you're going to see that both players' upper bodies are back. Now, Bauer's is a little bit more back than Lester's is, but you're always going to see the upper body behind the lower body as it's moving out. Okay, so just like that catapult, when I then bring my upper body forward, the more distance I get to go forward, the more energy I can build up, the faster I'm going to move, and the harder I'm going to throw. Right? So this is one of those core principles you're going to see with most major league pitchers, most elite throwers. The second analogy I give the players is I talk about if you've got a tree, right? So let's say this is a big red tree, all right? And I'm going to tie a rope around the tree and I'm going to pull this rope back, okay? The further I pull it back, so if I take that tree, let me get that red line again, and let's say I tie that rope to it and I pull it back, right? Pull, and now I get it right here. When I let go of that rope, the tree is going to fly forward with a certain amount of speed and energy, right? Well, the further I pull that rope back and let go, the faster the tree is going to go forward. So if I pull that thing way back to here, I keep drawing with the wrong line. If I pull that thing way, way back to here, right? So I tie the rope, I pull. I got it here. Now I let go of the rope. That tree now, because I pull back further, it's going to travel farther forward, picking up more energy, more speed, and eventually, it's going to fly really far past where the original tree was, right? So it's the same exact idea with the body. So you set it back, right? You move out with your lower body, you set your upper body back, and when you finally release, that thing's going to come, your upper body's going to come flying forward, okay, at a really fast rate of speed. So now that you kind of understand what's happening in the delivery and why it's happening. Hopefully that makes sense. I know my art skills are really bad. They look like a fourth grader, but hopefully that makes sense to you. When I think about that, those two analogies, that makes sense to me. So now how do we get our bodies to do that? Well, the way I try to tell our players is when they lift their leg, right as they're starting to get to the top of their leg lift, they want to start to move out with their lower body. They want to push their hips out and they want to get going down the mound. Okay, so you can see as his knee starts to come to the top, he's pushing his hips out. You can see the move right here. And he's starting to go forward, right? He's not waiting till he gets to the top. What you see a lot of young players do is they wait till they get all the way to the top, they take a balance point, they stop, and then they start to move all together and their upper body kind of leads. So you want to start to push your hips out as your knee is starting to get to the top of its delivery. And we'll do some things where, to give the player a feel, we'll have, we've had coaches stand right behind the mound and kind of shove their hips, put a hand right on their hip. And as they start to lift to the top of their leg lift, we start to push them so that their hips get pushed out and their upper body stays back. The other thing that I've seen, and that we use with players, we get up against the wall, right? So let's say there's a wall right here. Let me push him back a little bit. All right, so let's put him right here. We'll get up against the wall. We'll put a wall right here, a padded wall, and we'll do the same thing. We'll have the players start to try to move their hips out and plant their butt on the wall and have their butt hit before their shoulder hits. So when we do this with a lot of young players, the first thing that hits is their shoulders. And so we're trying to give them a feel of planting their butt. Boom, so they go from here, boom, put their butt on the wall, they come back. And just working on pushing and shoving the hips out so that they lead with the bottom half of their body, with their hip. The other tip that we give players is to try to point your toe. For a right-handed pitcher, you're going to try to put your toe towards the shortstop. And we'll do some drills where we'll get like a little bucket or something, and we'll put their foot, top here, put their toe towards the shortstop. We'll put a little bucket right here for them to put their foot on. And now we try to get their hip and butt moving before their foot comes off the bucket. And then once they really get moving, boom, then they can take their foot off. And at that point, they get into a really good position where, again, if you look at this angle, they're going to be leading with their hips, with their lower body. Their upper body stays back, okay? Then their upper body comes forward. So if you've never done it before, if you're one of those guys that leads with their upper body, then it feels a little bit awkward, maybe at first, to try to push your hips out, get yourself moving before, without coming to the top and pausing and then going, trying to get your hips pushed out and moving as you're getting to the top of the leg lift, get your body moving down the mound faster, and then getting that feeling of getting your butt going. It might feel a little bit awkward, but once you do it a few times, you're going to notice right away that all of a sudden the velocity of the ball just starts picking up, right, as you're going. Really, really, it's a pretty simple fix. It usually doesn't take very long to work on, something that's pretty easy, but you're going to notice a pretty big difference when you learn how to kind of keep your upper body back for as long as you can until you start to rotate forward. And I've never had a player that we've worked with this on that says, I don't like that, right? Usually it's something after pretty short amount of time that starts feeling really comfortable, and the players can see a big difference in it right away. So let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. Give it a shot, and also let me know how it's going for you, if you're having any issues with it, or if you're having success with it. Also, subscribe to the channel, share this with all your friends, give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram page, Antonelli Baseball, and our Twitter feed, Antonelli9, where we're posting videos all the time. Also, check out the description box below, where I put a bunch of books and training tools that we've used over the years that we've had a lot of success with our players. I think you guys will find that useful. Also, check out our website, AntonelliBaseball.com. If you guys want to do any work or any lessons, just let me know. Shoot me a message, shoot me an email. Everything's on the website, and I'd be glad to help you guys out. So thank you again. Good luck, and we will talk to you later.